Hello everybody and welcome to the Season 2 review vlog of Code Geass. I think I said that in the wrong order. Whatever. So indeed, yes, this is a bit late because I had to mull over what I wanted to convey in this vlog review thingy-majig. Because honestly, honestly, I enjoyed the series rather immensely, but I considered what kind of angle I wanted to approach the show from. There are many things that could be discussed in this. But what I'm going to say here is that the show actually, I finally decided upon what I want to say here. So let's see if I can do this in my first take. So yeah. So indeed, now that since I watched the season 2 of Code Geass, my thoughts have been cementing over my opinion about the show for quite a long time. So now I have kind of formed my opinion about it completely, and I will just in general talk about the whole series here. But first off, let's begin with the season 2 and season 1 differences and about how I feel like you should compare the two seasons. So first off, it's really a matter of scale. So honestly, the two seasons were very similar on most, well, just about in every like in every way they were similar, except for the scale. Season 2 just seemed to crank everything up by a notch, and they seemed to go for more of the bigger scale and more of everything. They were like, you want more mechs? We'll give you a shit ton of mechs. Like, here's a freaking new mech, and here's a new, and that's like, and then they were like, you want some technobabble? Here's an episode completely dedicated to technobabble. You want some silly high school drama? Here's some silly high school drama with just a lot of more, the stakes a lot more higher. You want some intrigue? We'll give you a crap ton more intrigue. You want fake out endings? We'll give you like 4 or 5 of them during this season. So indeed, it does feel like they just wanted to make things a lot more intense and a lot more heavy and a lot bigger in the grand scheme of things. However, that is not always a good thing, as can be obviously seen by the huge flaws that the show has. I'm not going to say that the show is bad, like in any regard. It's not only good, it's really a great show. Like really, there is a reason why it's been awarded by some. It has received various awards, and that is for a reason. It is a very good show. Both of the seasons are at the very least great, and in some regards they are even great, amazing. So indeed, even though they are great, they still do have flaws, huge flaws, and that's what we'll be discussing here mostly. Although I will be talking about a lot of negative things, do keep in mind, I really enjoyed the show. It's amazing by all regards, and though it has flaws, that doesn't mean that doesn't make it, well, it does make it, just categorically speaking, worse, but the flaws, there is no such thing as a flawless series. At least I haven't run across anyone. So yeah, one of the flaws that was in both seasons was that they had a lot of technobabble. However, the reason why you could hate season 2 more, or you could dislike season 2, or prefer season 1 over season 2, could be if you look at flaws more than the positives. Because even though they just are basically very similar in structure, season 2 had a lot bigger scale and a lot more heavy focus on the one certain subject. So in a way, the flaws are a lot bigger since everything is bigger. And since the flaws are bigger, you notice them a lot more easily, and that can easily distract you from all the good things that are going on. Like, for example, the technobabble, the continuous use of mechs, Deus Ex Machina, and a lot of things that come from out of nowhere, as well as, well, some silly motivation, some simplification of things. A lot of issues are simplified, and thus some character motivations are very unexplored. There are some moments that are not given enough time. They even increase the tempo of the show a lot. and those are certainly bad things, but I actually like the second season more because I am more forgiving about the flaws. So, you know, it's very much a personal issue, and I have no like, you can definitely like season 1 more than season 2. And there's one reason, one really huge reason why I think you can like that, like one advantage that season 1 has over season 2. And that is in season 1, or at least like throughout the whole show, it's not all that original. Honestly, there are not many that original things in it or anything like spectacular about it, except for a few things that just was an underlying theme all across the show, which was their use of cliches and tropes unabashedly. They used a lot of clichéic things so mercilessly, like so much of them, that it came all the way around and became original again, how unabashedly they abused some of the cliches, such as Christ imagery, even though that's like just my own personal opinion about the character of Lelouch and Suzaku, as well as the relationship between them. They had a lot more, like the whole symbolic Christ figure of Lelouch, or rather Zero, as well as just like the convenient events and the just mastermind in Lelouch just general was a lot of cliche. Like I should have really done this. You know, I've written a script for this because there's a lot of cliches here. But yeah, they used a lot of cliches. However, I feel like in season 1 they used them like to their advantage. They knew they were using cliches. Everybody knew that they were using cliches, and they took the full advantage of them. And that's what I loved about season 1. In the second season, however, I feel like because they started in the halfway point of the season, it feels like they abandoned that kind of focus and instead wanted to do something a bit more creative, a bit more not relying on cliches. And ironically enough, I feel like that really hurt the series. And by trying to become original, become something new, it became something very generic and boring. Again, that's just my opinion, so you know, that's a bit of an over exaggeration. But I hope you get the point. Since they didn't want to take the full advantage of the cliches that the show had, it became generic since they didn't use the cliches and instead they did something mildly original. It's hard to convey this emotion or this idea, but I hope you get the point across. Now, I do feel like just in general that the show is really, really amazing in many aspects. But one of the most actually strongest points where I do feel like this show is original is actually the character of Lelouch, because even though he is a mastermind, he is evil. And he embraces the evil, and he uses it to his advantage again. And this is why I feel like why I prefer season 2 is in the end they again realized that just the cliches that they used in season 1 was one of their strongest points, their use of cliches. And then in the end of the season 2 they began using them again, which I really loved. Now, I do love a lot of the mystery that the show had, so I'm kind of glad that they still had that kind of mystery feeling to C2, and even though they explained it, it made sense, and it's not completely explained, but rather it's left as our own ambiguity, and there's left some dead air there, and there's a lot of unanswered questions, but not so much that they are disturbing us. Now, I do feel like the story didn't completely end, as there are a lot of unresolved issues, such as, well, the world needs a leader, that's for sure, and it won't stay peaceful. But I feel like the ending of the season 2 was actually really perfect, because it really encapsulates, well, just about everything. And even though it was really, really cliche, they knew it. And they went really overboard with it, and it became full circle again, and it became original in a way. I just really love how they used it to their advantage. Even though, like, it has its weaknesses. It has also I just deliberately choose to see the good things. You know, I might be a little bit stupid for that, but you know. So yeah. Now there's a lot of things to be said about Suzaku and their whole um, about the characters, and I could just do a whole review here about the whole series. But safe to say, I just love the show as a character study of Lelouch. Um, if we removed Lelouch and instead made the protagonist a little bit, shall we say, an anti-hero, just an anti-hero without a lot of the insanity and the weaknesses, and just in general made him a lot more generic, I feel like the show would crumble and it wouldn't be that good. Like, honestly, I feel like Lelouch is the single driving force behind the series, and without him there's really not all that much originality or not all that much interesting things. It's not completely void of them, don't get me wrong there. Like, the whole idea behind Geass and the ideological study of how much Geass could have had an effect during the course of human history is something that certainly is it warrants a conversation in on itself, and I'd certainly love to explore those kind of possibilities. Like, if we speculate that it's a possible power that humans could have even in our world, we could even speculate how many world leaders have had that power. And that certainly would be interesting. So I do feel like the show does have some good things besides Lelouch, such as the world itself. The setting is something that I absolutely adored. So even though I believe all of you, well, if you haven't seen the commentary, you should really. I have really mentioned the strong points really throughout the show, but you know, I just really love the setting. I just really want to. That is something I want to bring out. But yeah, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about the characters. I do feel like there are some certain characters that actually support the show really well and are again very crucial to it, and the show wouldn't be the same without them, or if they were changed to something else. And those are just few and far between, such as honestly, C2 is definitely one of them, and I actually think that what is the princess name? I can't remember. Dang. The prince. Oh, bother. The prince who waged war on Lelouch in the last moments. Whatever. The one who was in control of Damocles. That is something that I really liked. And like, his character was also something that he was one that I really did like in the last moments, and as well in the first season. He was rather absent for the first half of the second season, but you know, that's not important. And then I actually have to kind of give credit to Suzaku, even though he is a rather I don't want to say bland, because he is not a character without strong points. Apologies. That interruption again got my thoughts, and I'm not gonna take a second take of this. So yeah, I don't have anything actually more to say. You're free to leave your own opinions about your dislike or like of either season or both of them, whatever. Leave your opinions if you wish. I'll certainly read them and reply to if I have anything to say. But yeah, so I do feel like both seasons have their strong moments and their weak moments. And while I certainly feel like that the season 1 was a bit more coherent, as they had a little more tighter structure and a lot tighter form to them, as they couldn't really explore the whole world, shall we say. I feel like the season 1 was maybe a bit more tightly constructed, and in season 2 they had to pick up the pace, which hurt the series. But I enjoyed both seasons, and I enjoyed the show immensely. I won't be going any more into the detail because time's up. So I thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Have a great day, and remember to vote. I'll see you. Thank you for watching. Gammu out.